Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode. It's the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. Remember, it's over 1,000 videos now that are there. So you got a lot to choose from. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, within a reasonable amount of time, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages. And I say within a reasonable amount of time on that scheduling because the job lately has been kicking my ass up one side and down the other. And I've been kind of exhausted usually when I get home now. So sometimes I just can't do it. I mean, otherwise I'll fall asleep during the podcast if I were to do it while I was really exhausted. So not really worth your time or my time at that point. So, hey, Feisty, how's it going? And Morks. Got two people in there. Interesting. So, the writer's strike, which is now also turned into the actors' strike as well. So the actors have decided as of Thursday to strike as well. So to recap, really what it comes down to, the crux of all of this is the studios want to use AI to, for the writers, they want to be able to write scripts using AI and then basically charge the writers a cleanup fee, I guess you could say, to come in and correct the AI's mistakes to finalize the scripts. That way, they don't have to charge them creative, or they don't have to pay them creative residuals off of those scripts. In actors' cases, what they want to do is they want to digitize the entire actor. This is including background actors as well, and be able to use their likeness and their voice at any time they really want to, without, again, having to pay them for their likeness or their voice or their talent. And this is some reprehensible bullshit, is really what it comes down to. And as it is, the studios aren't paying what they owe people anyway. I've said this before. Ed Solomon, who is co-creator of Bill and Ted, has written the scripts for Men in Black 1 and 2. He's written the scripts for numerous Hollywood movies. And he goes back to Men in Black #1. And the studio says that Men in Black 1 has cost, what is it? The amount of money that's cost them is $546 million. And all they're getting back, from the amount of money they made off that movie is $545 million. So it's a losing proposition. So he gets no residuals off of that, which of course is bullshit because there's no paperwork involved in this. And that's another thing that's also part of the strike as well, is that the studios are not upfront about what money they're getting in, what money is going out. But supposedly they're still saying solvent because they're able to charge, to pay people like, Bob Iger, $47 million a year to run, Disney and all that kind of stuff. And I believe his contract is through 2026 now at this point. So this is all what they're fighting for, and it's a good fight. Now, also on top of this, the Directors Guild was supposed to get involved in this as well, but they took the chump deal and they solved their before they went to strike. They actually signed a contract with the studios, and I don't know exactly what the details of that are, but they're not going to be joining in on this strike. So he's not running Disney to the ground, honestly, Marks. He's actually making more money than ever before. The guy before him was actually starting to run Disney to the ground. That's why they brought Iger back to rein in some shit. And I agree with you, Feisty. They are taking the humanity out of it. Mark says, why go through all the trouble of using a likeness? Just make new digital actors and save all that money. Because AI cannot pull it from nowhere, Marks. They actually have to use... So AI is not creative. It does not create its own stuff. What it does is it takes bits and pieces from the internet and mushes them together and makes something new, if you will, by piecing other stuff together. and it doesn't create something from nothing. So one of the things that an AI laboratory will do is they will take you know, works people, and this is also a lawsuit that's going on right now. They're taking written works like books and things like that and feeding it into an AI machine so that it has some resources to draw from so it can create its own story, when really what it's doing, it's using other people's stories and mushing them together. It's basically like taking, you know, you're taking, it's a word jumble. You're putting a whole bunch of words into a basket, rolling it around, and then you're getting words that come out. So it's plagiarism exactly. It's exactly plagiarism at this point. Um, says you can hire digital artists to generate a 3D model. You can, but then you have to pay them money, and then you have to pay them residuals because so this is the way things work on some stuff. If you're hiring someone to create a logo for you, you can set the boundaries of that. Like if you're a company and say, "Hey, I need a logo for my company," right? And you say, "This is how much I'm willing to charge you," and you give up the rights to that work once you're done on all of that, and you get X amount of dollars. For example, the woman who created the Nike logo, she got, it wasn't a large amount, but Nike did right by her by giving her stock on top of this. This is after the fact, after Nike actually hit it big. And so they gave her stock options. I forget what else. So they actually did right by her, in that respect, where they actually gave her, it's a most recognizable symbol in the world. And they didn't have to do that, quite honestly. They could have just gone by the paltry sum that they paid her initially, but they actually did right by her and gave her stock options in Nike as well, which are worth now millions of dollars. So that's the correct way of doing things. Now, with creation or creative things, um, what you if you have a creator that creates a property such as a comic book character or something like that, right? And they come to say a Marvel or a DC or something like that, and Marvel's like, "Hey, that's great. We want to use that character." But so what Marvel and DC does is when they have someone who creates a character while under their employ, they own the rights to that character. That's how that goes. If you come in with that character already and you are trying to sell it to them, it depends on what deal you kind of work out with them. You can still retain the rights to the character, but most likely you're going to end up having to sell the rights to that character as well if you want them to publish anything. It gets tricky, and it comes down to lawyers at that point. Sorry, I'm actually going to turn on my fan here because it's a little warm back here. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of tricky stuff when it comes to this creativity wise. Same thing with if you're creating a script. If you create a script on spec, which means that the studio has paid you to write a specific screenplay, then you're going to get less money for it than if you've created a script and you shop it around to different studios and say, "Hey, I want to get this made. How much are you willing to pay me for this?" And you can either sell it outright along with the rights to all the characters that you've created in that script, or you can retain some of that. Again, Lucas is a prime example of this. 20th Century Fox didn't have any faith whatsoever in Star Wars. So they said, "Hey, you know what? We'll publish this or we'll distribute it for a I forget how much it was, you know, of the box office revenue." And they said you can retain the rights to the characters, you can retain the rights to the story, the toy rights, all that shit. You can keep that. Whoever the Fox studio executive is who made that deal, most likely has been drawn and quartered and buried in 15 different counties at this point. But yeah, you can see where that goes at this, you know, at that point in time. It depends on how good of a lawyer you have, one, what kind of bargaining power you have, two, how well your name is known, that kind of thing, and then how good the story is, three. Some people will try and sell you a load of shit saying your story is worth nothing, and will try and buy it out from under you. And again, this happens all the time in Hollywood. So, it's a shit show is really what it is. And of course, the studios do not want to pay. And then on top of that, if you have something that's popular, like say a TV show or something like that, that goes into distribution. The distribution rights are going from, say, Netflix is going to stream old episodes of Friends, right? So if they're going to stream old episode of Friends, they have to pay. I believe Warner Brothers owns the rights to Friends. Yes, Warner Brothers does own the rights to Friends. So they have to pay Warner Brothers a certain amount of money. Now, if Warner Brothers is getting that money, Warner Brothers by contract has to pay the creatives in all of this a certain amount, a certain percentage, according to the contract that they have with those creatives. I'm getting boring here and technical, but that's where your residuals come in. And this also goes for any DVD sales, digital sales, that kind of stuff, depending on what it has in the contract that you signed with the company. And that is where residuals come in. Now, the thing is, right now, the way it stands is no one can see the books that Warner Brothers has and what money they have coming in. And so they can say, oh, well, you know what? We didn't make enough money to cover the costs of what it is that we're paying out to distribute this. So sorry, but you're not getting your residuals because we didn't get enough money out for that. So sorry, your ass out. Also, and this is what Zaslav has started and what other companies have started following suit, is they take a series such as Westworld and remove it from the streamer entirely, remove DVD sales, remove digital sales, and make it unavailable to anybody. So if you make it unavailable to anybody, no one's paying you any money, so you don't have to pay out dividends to any kind of distributor or anything like that, or dividends to your creatives, because it's not making any money and you've effectively removed it from mainstream, if you will. You removed access to it, so no one can actually watch it unless they've pirated it at this point. So yeah. Mark says, well, listen to this. Creating a digital person, one, you have an eternal actor. Two, once you own it, you don't pay it. But yeah, who creates that digital actor, though? Again, if it's an amalgam of people, then all those different people that it's made up of, which is what AI does, have a piece of that character because they own their own. This is why people have started copyrighting their likeness, their voice. James Earl Jones, by the way, who's 90 some odd years old, who's just retired from acting, actually sold his voice rights to Disney for Darth Vader. So he has sold that, and I believe they are paying out through the end of his life, and then they're also going to pay his descendants, if I remember correctly, of this until the end of their life. That was what the deal was on that one. So yeah, it's yes. Again, I agree with you, CBN. There is no better argument for piracy because of what is going on right now. What Zaslav has put into place, Zaslav, what he started, and what now Paramount Plus has done, what Disney has done. All of this, they are restricting access to views. And again, this is why I'm a proponent of physical media, because physical media cannot be changed once you own it, once you have it. Also, it can't be deleted from your digital, library or anything like that. You have it, and it's not going to end. It's not going to change unless, they don't make DVD players anymore, or in this case, VHS copies or anything like that. So where does this lead us to now with the strike and what's going on? So with the strike that's happening, and this is where it gets a little more fucked up too, is that if you're a writer, you of course cannot promote anything, you cannot write anything, you cannot work on anything that is going to be industry standard. So they have a certain list of rules. Actors also, the SAG-AFTRA has released a list of what you can and cannot do. And one of those things you cannot do is attend a convention to promote any kind of material. Actually, it just says you cannot attend a convention, is what it says. So there's this little thing coming up this week in San Diego called Comic-Con. and all the panels there have just been decimated, completely and totally decimated right now. Anything that is TV movie wise. Also, we're talking your animation as well. So all your anime characters that the voice actors and stuff like that, they cannot attend those conventions either. So I know people are saying, "Oh, well, Comic Con's going back to the comics, man. We're gonna get comic people in there again." It's like, well, yeah, but you also had your anime people, you also had your animation people, all that kind of stuff that also depended on these before Hollywood and TV mainstream moved into Comic Con, and that was pretty much the only place that some people could go and see them was at Comic-Con because they weren't traveling around to different other smaller cons across the country. That's where it sucks for people at this point. Um, People are not going to, people who have already invested enough money in their plane tickets, their hotels, their Comic-Con tickets, all of those are non-refundable, have to go, and they're going to, sure, there's other stuff to see around there. The outdoor events are fun for the most part, but a lot of people go there for the panels. I'm glad I didn't buy tickets this year. I thought about it, when the tickets were on sale. And I'm like, I just really don't want to go this year. And I was like, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try for a press pass. That's what I said to myself. Because I'm just like, I live down there. I went, as much as possible when I was down there. I've been to that thing over 20 times now at this point. I saw it before it became, Hollywood Central. I actually remember when it became Hollywood Central, and that was the year that what was it? The World of Tomorrow, Captain something in the World of Tomorrow, that Jude Law movie with Angelina Jolie that tanked, crashed and burned. They had giant inflatable robots lining the convention center way in San Diego. And that was the first year that Hollywood really felt like it was invading. And also when Twilight came out, Twilight is where ticket sales became ridiculous. So that is when that happened. And so now, it's really hard to get a ticket to get in. You have to pay a lot of money for, hotels and stuff like that. It's kind of Sky Captain. Thank you. Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. That's the one. But that's when it kind of went really big. I remember walking out into the floor in, I want to say it was 2001, and there was a full mock-up, life-size mock-up of an X-Wing. And I'm talking middle of the day on a Saturday, walked right up to it. I have a picture buried someplace in my Facebook page of nobody around. There's one dude standing next to it. There was nobody else around it because you could walk right up to it. There were no ropes in front of it. You could touch it if you really wanted to. And now, no, you can't get anywhere near that. So, yeah. How about the Emmys? The Emmys, no one watches that anyway, Stanley. So, yeah. Hey, Dante S. How's it going? Mork says you reach an agreement just like any other company. What you create is the property of the company you work for. Not exactly, Morks. Creativity is something different entirely. If you create something before you shop it out to a company, depending again on how you market it, who your lawyers are, things like that, you can own the rights to that property. Because who knows? I mean, for example, there's a writer, Steve Niles. He had been trying to make Hollywood movies for a while with his characters that he had made. And Steve Niles, by the way, is the creator of 30 Days of Night, if you ever saw that movie, which is a comic beforehand. So he had been trying to get that made into a movie, wasn't successful. So he started going to comics. And the comics caught on, they became very popular. And then it became a movie, which is kind of funny. So he's also created these other characters. Cal McDonald, I believe I have Cal McDonald Mysteries up here. Steve Niles, by the way, great guy to talk to if you ever get to meet him at a con. I believe he's actually going to this convention just to meet friends, is what he said. He's not promoting anything. He's going there to meet up with some friends that are going there. But I know he's been trying to shop around Cal McDonald, which is also a comic now too. Great comic, by the way. And great books. So what the books are about, and I'll just tell you this briefly before I go back into this. Cal McDonald is he was in the police academy and then had a really fucking horrible day where his mom and sister and dad all died in a car wreck. And I believe it was close to his graduation from the academy as a police officer. And he ends up finding out that supernatural creatures are real. This is, I'm boiling it down. And as a result of this, starts taking drugs and drops out of the academy, becomes a private investigator, and he becomes a private investigator primarily for supernatural entities. And one of them that is his helper, Moloch is his name, is a ghoul. Um, and there's some really fucked up shit that happens in these all these mysteries. Great storyline, great tag, all this stuff would make a great movie, but Hollywood hasn't bit. And the reason for this is he's not willing to give up the rights to those characters because he knows what he has, property wise. He's already done this for 30 Days of Night and they fucked that up completely. So, yeah, he's not going to give up the rights to those characters. He's not going to sign them away just to get the movie made and then have them fuck up his other. Basically, he's getting revenue from the books, he's getting revenue from the comics as well. Why would you go to a place like a Disney or a Fox, or well, they're owned by the same people now, or Paramount or something like that, and have them buy the rights to your characters, which are already you own in other media, and then have them fuck it up enough because they don't trust the process of what's already been done, and they change your storyline significantly, like they did for 30 Days of Night, and fuck it up, and then also fuck up your other revenue that you're getting. And then, of course, any money that they make off of the movies that they made off of your characters, they don't pay you residuals on. Why would you even do that? Why would you even fucking think that in the first place? So, yeah, this is the crux of all of this that's happening. And the last time the writers and the actors got together for a strike was 63 years ago. And this is when a little medium that was becoming really huge called TV was becoming more mainstream and was becoming more popular than movies and was taking a bite out of movies. And it's basically whenever technology starts changing enough where people need to get it in writing that they're going to get paid for what they're doing instead of being fucked over. And that's really what's going to happen there. Sorry, Marks, I didn't mean to get all into it, but that's really where all this is going. And I'm using just one specific example on this. There are multiple different examples of all of this, and it's just, yeah, it's a fucked up time. It really is. And like I said, Comic-Con, I feel bad for the people that are going to Comic-Con that were expecting to see these panels of their favorite movie actor. They were going to get this is the other thing that's really fucked up here too. The Venture Brothers, right? The Venture Brothers, the Radiant Heart of the Radiant Blood of a Baboon, of the Baboon Heart, which is coming out soon. This was going to be the premiere of that movie. Was going to be at Comic-Con. Doc Hammer, one of the creators of Venture Brothers, and Jackson Public, Doc Hammer actually said, "Hey, he goes, I had my tickets in hand, which he bought himself, his plane tickets to Comic-Con. He said he had his shitty tuxedo. He also had a bag full of giveaways that he was going to give to the crowd, which they do all the time when they do their panels. Their panels are awesome." And he goes, "And I can't go." He goes, I decided to honor the Actors Guild, uh, which he's part of because he's a voice actor. He is one of the voices for Venture Brothers, and he's also a writer. He's also part of the Writers Guild because he's a writer for the Venture Brothers. And he says, "I'm gonna stay home." He goes, and I'm sorry. He apologized on Twitter. He and Jackson Public did, and because of that, which is going to be the last outing for the Venture Brothers at this point, because it's owned by Warner Brothers, and Zaslav is most likely going to lock it away into a fucking vault someplace. Yeah, it's fucked up that last whole hurrah that they're going to get in Comic-Con. I'm sure there's going to be other stuff that happens, in later years, but still, damn. Stanley says, how many writers are in the union percentage wise? Do you have to be in the union to work in Hollywood as a writer? Yes, you do. Scabs. So this is the other thing too. If you scab at this time, if you are not in the guild, say, and you decide to go and write, or you decide to go and act, you're going to be blacklisted once this strike is over with. You will never find work ever again in the industry. Never, ever will you find work again ever in the industry. Yeah, because when it's found out that you had worked during the strike, even because you were not part of the union, and you're like, oh, that's no big deal. I'm not part of the union, so I can work. You'll never work in the union or on any property ever again, unless it's your own and you put up your own money. So yeah. Raymond says, but TV became more prominent since the 60s. Does that mean AI's domination is inevitable? Probably. Raymond, it all depends on how it's used. So, yeah, you can, again, it all depends. Technology is only as good as the hand that wields it, and it's only as bad as the hand that wields it. And with AI right now, like I've heard, what is it? What do they call them? The newest generation. I can't remember what they're called. The kids right now. The only thing they're using AI for, like GTP or GPT, is to do homework. So they don't have to do homework. That's what they're using AI for, is to complete their homework. They're not doing anything else with it. They're not doing anything bad with it. They're fucking lazy assholes. And they're using it to do their homework. And I'm sorry for you lazy assholes out there that I just offended. But I stand by my words. The Mark says, in 10 years, I won't have a job guaranteed. You never know. I mean, that's why you always diversify. I have so many different things I can jump back on. It's ridiculous. But I know what I do for a living. There's no way you can have an AI technology take over my job kind of thing. I work in safety, by the way. So that's what my day job is. Yeah. Yeah, I know programming. Yeah, programming has been taken over by AI quite a bit more, because I agree with you on that. But there's still going to be stuff that, you know, that programmers are going to be able to do. It's not going to be as many programmers as there are now, granted, because you now have a tool that will speed that process up. Stanley says, I'm disappointed by AI as a search engine so far. My results are not better than searching. Yeah, I agree with you. AI has been horrible in in the stuff that I search for. And no, don't go anywhere dirty with that. Although, never mind. Yeah, it's just AI hasn't met my needs on things. I agree with you. Dante S says, AI writing and AI images aren't that great to me. I would not sit and watch a 30-minute story of writing. Yeah, I agree with you. I know somebody on Facebook who swears by AI. They type in all these different algorithms, and they put up these pictures, and these pictures are fucking horrendous, quite honestly, in my eyes. And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I know where this is derived from, and I don't find that respectful, quite honestly. If you are going to, and granted, I have done artwork myself by hand that has been derivative of like Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, uh, you name an artist out there, a comic book artist, I've probably, been derivative of at some point in time when I've been drawing. And that's because I like their artwork. But the thing is, I've done it by hand. I actually chose that. I will sometimes have mixed artists into it. I've got a piece of artwork hanging around the corner that is Mike Mignola, but that's because I've mixed in Mike Mignola's artwork into it too. It's actually a piece of hanging art that I have. You've seen it here before on the show, and it's probably, once Doom Patrol is over with here, I will be replacing the Doom Patrol poster behind me with that piece of art that I've been talking about. It's a mixed piece. That's what it's called. Stanley says Steam has announced to remove games that cannot prove that they own their AI art sources. Exactly. Mark says the military currently is creating AI models to pilot drones alongside a human. AI is being trained for all sorts of automations. Give it time. The applications for are neither good or yeah, exactly. There already have been the ethical implications of does an AI choose whether or not to kill or not kill a person when it's piloting a drone, and how can you teach it that? Yeah, it's some really fucked up shit. It really is. But this is what it comes down to. This is the first big battle that we're going to see in our lifetimes of AI impacting us as humans. And this is the big mainstream one, the first big mainstream one. There are going to be others for sure, but we'll see how it goes. So on to happier news. We got the first look of. Oh, and by the way, so all of these strikes, of course, have halted productions across Hollywood. So anything that was in production, filming, or whatever, is done. They are not doing any work on there, nor is work is happening anytime soon until the strike is over with. So there you have it. Dante says, I agree. I use GPT a lot, and you have to really understand the prompt system exactly. Yeah. The first big problem with AI is the unethical use of it. Yes. And just like cassettes, CDs, Laserdiscs, HD, DVD, Blu-rays evolved, it's part of the evolution. Yes, exactly. It is part of the evolution of technology. And yes, AI is itself just a tool. And again, like I said, it just depends on who is wielding it, how much power you're going to give it, how much autonomy you're going to give it, and how it evolves itself. I mean, will we get sentient AI? We probably will get sentient AI at some point in time, and then that's when shit gets a little bit scary, quite honestly, because that's unpredictable. We don't know if that sentient AI will have it in for us or will work with us. Yeah, and then it depends on how we're going to treat it as well. So, because we don't have too much of a good track record of of treating ourselves nor our fellow beings that are on the planet. I'm talking about animals and stuff like that. uh we don't have a good track record of being nice to others as a species. So there. And on that dark note, so Deadpool 3 has ceased production, of course, but we did get a screenshot of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, dressed in the yellow and blue Wolverine costume, walking alongside Deadpool. That was interesting. That was actually kind of cool. And then also right before the strike here, we got from Nathan James Gunn. We got some Superman Legacy casting. So we have Hawk Girl. Isabella Merced is going to be playing Hawk Girl. Edie Gathegi, there we go, is playing Mr. Terrific. And Nathan Fillion has been cast as Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. That right there is fucking phenomenal. Nathan Fillion really should have been Hal Jordan at one point in time. He has voiced Hal Jordan, and he does a great job of voicing Hal Jordan in some of the animated DC stuff. But him being Guy Gardner, I can actually see that as well. And I'm like, okay, you put the bowl haircut on him. And I've seen Nathan Fillion be an asshole before. He does a great job of it. If you haven't seen it, the Alan Tudyk series Con Man, which started online and then went over briefly to sci-fi, and then disappeared. It's fantastic. Nathan Fillion plays a successful version of himself, but kind of goes over and above and just becomes an asshole, but an asshole who doesn't really know he's an asshole, and that's Guy Gardner. It's really what it is. And if you look at that character and you go, yeah, that is Guy Gardner. He can actually do it fairly well. And James Gunn has said that yes, Nathan Fillion will be Guy Gardner throughout the DC universe, the new DC universe, or DCEU as they're calling it, or DCU. I can't remember what they're calling it now. But yeah, he's going to be part of that. And he also, he being James Gunn, has said he has cast, and I'm looking up there, Anthony Kerrigan. You probably seen him in Barry. He plays the Ukrainian hitman who hired Barry. So Anthony Kerrigan, he's the bald dude. He's going to be playing Metamorpho in Superman Legacy. Metamorpho. And I'm like, holy shit, you're actually bringing that character in there too? Really? So this is going to be a crazy movie if it ever gets made once the strike is done. Um, so yeah, this is like amazing, amazing shit that's happening. So yeah, there you have it. Ah, man. Yeah. Sorry. Trying to hold back a sneeze there. Um, And then, of course, we have Blue Beetle that's coming out on August 18th, which I'm looking forward to tell you the truth. A lot of people talk shit about this online about Blue Beetle. And honestly, the trailer, George Lopez aside, I fucking hate George Lopez. I really do. Mainly because he plagiarizes from other comics. Um, and I don't like him as a human being. He just, yeah. Other than him being in it, um, I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm actually going to go and see this opening night. And Blue Beetle looks amazing. And that is the start of the new DC universe. Is Blue Beetle? He is going to be the first hero within that universe, is what James Gunn has said. So there you have that as well. Yeah. Hank was a great character too. If you saw the season finale of Barry, so fucked up it really was. That was a really fucked up episode. Very, very, very fucking dark, but good as well. So what else do we have? July 27th, which is 2 weeks from now. We have the premiere of Twisted Metal. Yes, the video game Twisted Metal is being made into a TV series for Peacock, and Anthony Mackie is going to be starring in it. The trailer is up. It's on my Facebook page. If you go over to, I'm knocking shit over. If you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, you'll see where my Facebook link is to the page on Facebook there, and the trailer is up. And the trailer actually looks pretty damn good, I have to admit. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking where Anthony Mackie is talking to the screen, to us and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be streaming. And if you also noticed on that Facebook page a while ago, I had put up a link to Peacock was offering a $20 for the year subscription. I had the link up there. I don't know if that's expired now or not, but you can try it out. I get no residuals from that because they're cheap bastards. But I figure whenever I can save you money on a streaming service and have it done legally, I'll give you that information. So that looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. What else is there? There was some other stuff too. Oh yeah, we got the trailer for Wonka. Fuck, they're bound and determined to get another Willy Wonka movie done. So December 15th, Wonka is coming out. This is Timothy, whatever his name is, the dude who's in Dune, plays the main character in Dune. He looks fucking horrible in this. Better than Johnny Depp, but nowhere near Gene Hackman. and it's supposed to be the early days of Wonka, how Wonka got his chocolate factory put together and all of that. And oh yeah, yeah. Um, Raymond says, "Oh, PS5 users can claim a 6-month free trial of Apple TV Plus if you claim it before the end of the month." Oh, really? I need to hook up my PS5 then and actually do that. When I moved, I didn't bother hooking up my PS5. I should say I didn't get around to it because I've been busy. Did I say Gene Hackman? I meant Gene Wilder. That was just a slip. I don't know where that came from. Can you tell I'm tired? Sometimes I am. Dante says, I liked Foundation from Apple TV, Silo 2, but got rid of Apple last week. Yeah, there's nothing on Apple that's worth watching. Peacock, like I said, if I hadn't bought the subscription for $20, which I did as well, I wouldn't be watching it, quite honestly. There's some stuff that's okay on it. There's a lot of NBC shows that are there. But there really isn't that much. Yeah. Timothy Chalamet. Thank you, CBM. Yeah, he's not really wowing me as an actor. So, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I'll wait till Wonka, I'm guessing, will come out on streaming like 2 or 3 weeks after it gets released in the theaters just because it looks that bad. But you know what isn't going to look that bad is on August 23rd, we're going to get Ahsoka that comes out on Disney Plus, and it's going to come with 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes will drop on August 23rd. I am going to be covering that series, obviously. If you look over in Galactus's hand over there, there's an Ahsoka figure. I will be giving that away. So, yeah. CBM says, I have some feelings about Chalamet, but I'll just say I agree with you. Yeah. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. I murder people's names. That's what I do, unfortunately. I have interns right now that are working for me, and I murder like half of their names. And I've told them this. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm most likely going to murder your name. Correct me if you, just do it. Just correct me. That's all you need to do. Correct me if I murder your name. So, oh yeah, and this big thing too. Also on July 27th, season 4 of Harley Quinn premieres on Max. Now, this both excites me and worries me at the same time because one, it's on Max and we're getting season 4 of Harley Quinn, the animated Harley Quinn, which is a great series. But again, it's on Max and Zaslav owns Max and he's been canceling shit left and right. So I don't know if we're going to get an entire dump of the first of season 4 and then they're going to cancel it, or if we're going to do like they were doing before where they're releasing, episode by episode a week. Time will tell. But July 27th, yes, I will be covering that as well. Because I covered the first 3 seasons, I'm going to cover season 4 as well. And I'm looking forward to it. Considering if you go to my Facebook page and if you look at their Twitter page for Harley Quinn, because it has its own account, her and Ivy are riding a giant rocket that has balls. It looks like a dick. Basically, it looks like Jeff Bezos' rocket that he made, only with balls attached to them. And hanging off the balls is King Shark and Clayface. Yeah. CBM said, I hope that means I get Harley Quinn on Crave here, but unlikely. You might. I don't know. Yeah, so the shitty thing was AT&T. I have AT&T for my internet connection, and anytime so if we're an AT&T subscriber or something like that, you got HBO Max for free when HBO Max was it was part of your subscription. And That was the reason why I went with AT&T, was because that was folded in. I was like, all right, I'm paying a little bit extra for my internet, but it's the exact same cost as what I was paying for, HBO Max on its own. So I didn't mind. Then I moved and I went to go. I was using my old Fire TV Cube. I bought a new Fire TV Cube to stream stuff because Amazon Prime, having a sale, all that kind of stuff, and they upgraded their cube. Plugged it in, downloaded it, and it says you don't have a subscription to this. And I was like, what the fuck? So I called up AT&T and I'm like, what's going on? And I said, is it because I moved and you guys created a new account that I no longer? And they're like, yeah, that's the reason why. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. I said, so guess what? I'm going to Xfinity. And they're like, hang on a sec, let me get you a manager. And yeah, the manager was like, oh yeah, sorry, it looks, sorry, we can't do anything about it. I'm like, great. I guess I'm moving over to Xfinity then, and ended the thing, right? Well, literally 5 minutes later, I get an email from Max saying, welcome to Max. And they said your subscription is being paid through AT&T. And I just started laughing. I'm like, seriously? So basically, all I just had to tell them was I was going to your rival to get my streaming service back. So it's just some really fucking stupid stuff, man. But needless to say, I've got my Max subscription back, and yeah, everything's fine and right with the world. Ah, Stanley says Netflix seems to chop some of its series into two parts recently. At least there's the binge model seems to be softening, but Max traditionally airs most stuff week by week. So Max has been doing this weird thing where they drop the first 3 episodes, either the first 3 or 4 episodes, and then they'll do an episode a week thereafter. And they did it with Warrior. Warrior, they dropped the first 3 episodes of season 3, and then they've been doing week by week. They did the same thing with the animated. So there's a new animated series, My Adventures with Superman, which Jack Quaid is voicing Superman on that. And again, it's through Adult Swim, but it's also on Max as well. So they dropped the first 2 episodes, and now they're doing an episode a week. That's what they're doing thereafter. And that's what I'm guessing they're going to do with Harley Quinn as well. They're going to drop probably the first 2 or 3 episodes and then do an episode a week thereafter, because it's dropping on Max. It's not dropping on anything else because it's an adult related show. But that's what I've been seeing them do on their series lately, is they drop the first 2 episodes. Hulu's been doing this as well. So What We Do in the Shadows, season 5 just premiered on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which one it was. Thursday. That's right, Thursday. And then it comes up on Hulu on Friday. So they dropped the first 2 episodes already of season 5, and they're going to do once a week thereafter. So Dante S says it's so hard to do appointment TV now. You want me to follow your show for 10 weeks in a row? Not for me, it's not. I actually prefer that. I don't like binging anymore because honestly, I'll fall asleep because again, I'm old and I get tired easily. I start watching, then I'll fall asleep and I wake up 3 episodes later and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have to go back, and yeah, it's like, just give me an episode a week. That's fine. I know where it's at. I know where to find it, and I can watch it. And with the Fire Cube, it actually just tells me, do you want to continue watching this, kind of thing and whatnot. Which normally I do. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. It's very rarely that I don't. What else? That's pretty much all I got for you news wise. Because again, the strike is what has been making the big rounds of news. Excuse me. Ow. Just see if there's anything else real quick here. Steven Soderbergh is releasing a sci-fi web series next week called Command Z, starring Michael Cera and Liv Schreiber, and it's going to be available July 17th. So where is it coming? I don't know. Excuse me. I'm looking to try and find out where the fuck this is being released at. And only at extension765.com. Really? Okay. That's kind of a weird one. And it's got Michael Cera in it. Again, a person I'm not really that enamored with. Stanley says it also kills the online, but yeah, exactly. Binging, it's basically it's done and gone. So The Witcher Part 1 was already released, and people have binged it and forgotten about it now at this point. That's the third season, which is the final season with Henry Cavill as The Witcher. And there have been a couple articles saying, are they setting Liam Hemsworth up to fail? Is Netflix setting Liam Hemsworth up to fail? Because one, well, they're not backing him as the new Witcher. They're not promoting him as the new Witcher. There is no crossover between, of course, Henry Cavill is not going to, promote any of this either. But yeah, they're basically season 4 is most likely going to be the last of The Witcher whenever they get around to filming it. Yeah, you can always wait a few weeks to binge it if or wait till a series ends to binge. I mean, that's what I'm doing with Strange New World season 2. Is I'm going to wait until the entire season 2 is out. Then I'm going to use the free 7-week or 7-day trial and watch all of it, binge it that way, and then I will dump Paramount Plus, because I'm not paying for Paramount Plus. There's just nothing else on there that's worth me watching. There you have it. What else is there? Yeah, there really is nothing else out there. Oh, I guess June, the Sisterhood, that series that was supposed to be on HBO Max, or now Max, is going to resume production. It says June, the Sisterhood to resume production amidst amidst actors strike, which is kind of weird. How are they doing this now? I don't know. Per deadline, production on the Sisterhood is said to start up in Budapest any day now, picking up from the original November 2022 start date. Like with HBO's House of the Dragon, the Dune series has a largely British cast and is therefore working under that region's equity contracts. So there you go. So SAG-AFTRA does not apply to them. So that's the other thing I've been hearing about too, is that people have been saying, hey, well, why don't other countries start getting in on promoting their stuff, so that they can get a leg up on the American market. And that's a good question. And the thing is, most likely because Zaslav doesn't want to pay people residuals. He'd have to pay them residuals too, and he doesn't want to do that. So yes, Netflix can push their international stuff. I watch a lot of Netflix international stuff, quite honestly. I have to admit, I really do. Trying to see if there's anything else. There really isn't. Huh. Cameron Monaghan, Monaghan, basically the guy who played the Joker in or Joker Light in Gotham, and he's also Cal Kestis in the Star Wars game, Fallen Jedi or Fallen Order. He has joined the Tron Ares cast. I guess Tron is doing a third movie, Tron Ares. So there you go. And by the way, if you haven't seen the new trailer for Ahsoka that came out. I guess it's the final trailer or possibly the final trailer. We actually get to see Thrawn live action. Chopper, we got to see Chopper in live action. Hera, we get to hear her speak, and we see some more of the Inquisitors as well. And we see a little bit of Ray Stevenson, one of his last performances. We get to see that. So I'm really fucking looking forward to this. Considering that Dave Filoni has said yes, this is Rebels season 5, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in on this. Yes, we get to see Ezra and Sabine. Correct, Raymond, we do. And I'm fairly sure we're going to see Jaden in this as well. So Jaden is the son of Hera and Caleb Doom. Yep. Makes me happy. It really does. Stanley says, I read that the executives have been quoted wanting to wait. So yeah, thank you for reminding me about that, Stanley. I was actually going to mention that. So one of the executives at this retreat, so there was a retreat with all the different heads of the streaming services. They all flew their private jets in. I believe it was in Colorado or something like that. And one of them has been quoted as saying that, yeah, let's just wait until the writers, until they lose their homes, they're starving out in the street. That's how long we're going to wait before we start negotiating with them again. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. This from billionaires, coming from billionaires at this point. So, and I believe Ron Perlman responded back with a video of his saying that if a couple of houses burned down of some of the billionaires, well, so be it. A couple of houses burned down. Yeah, that was kind of it's an interesting video if you get a chance to watch it. It's Ron Perlman being Ron Perlman. I actually, and I've said this before, I actually bumped into Ron Perlman by accident at Comic-Con one year. I was talking to somebody, or I should say I was going to go get something, walked out the front doors of Comic-Con, and someone who I know called me to remind me to grab something for them. And I turned around and I was walking backwards talking to them, and I bumped into somebody, like, not hard, just a little bit. And I'm like, turn around, and, oh, excuse me. And it was Ron Perlman. He was waiting for his limo to come up, and he had his cigar in his mouth. And I saw who it was. And I go, no, really, excuse me. And he just kind of laughed a little bit. Go, yeah. And I just went off my way. But yeah, it was like, dude's big and kind of scary. Yes, Hellboy's going to burn your house down. Exactly. Korean shows are probably made by their own studio, but are treated like Netflix series for international releases. Same thing happens to Canadian shows like Kim's Convenience. Kim's Convenience was done in the States, if I remember correctly, CBM. And there's a lot of bone of contention with some of the actors from Kim's Convenience about how it ended. So, and some stuff too. So there you go. There. Oh, it was done by CBC. Okay. Well, they still had some bones of contention with it. So there you go. Especially the dude who was in The Mandalorian, who played the pilot. I can't remember his fucking name now. Shit. Well, yeah. Ron Perlman put out his greatest villain act for that video. No, so he is not just a talker, Dante. Yes, he actually does. So at one point, Ron Perlman was supposed to shake the hand of Harvey Weinstein in a receiving line at some event, and the word is that he pissed on his own hands before he shook the hand of before he was forced to shake the hand of Harvey Weinstein. Yes. That is what the story is on that one. He does not take shit. And supposedly there are other stories from people that have been in the room of when he talks to producers and other studio execs, and it's not an act. He gets scary. So yeah, Yeah. This is a guy, he's already got his money. He's already got, a couple I think he's worth 8 million is what I read, something like that. That's enough to live off for the rest of your life kind of thing. And he probably doesn't give a fuck at this point and is willing to fight for others. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. So, I hit the hour mark here. I think I'm good. I've gone through enough stuff here. I talked about the big news anyway, as it was the strikes that are happening, and who knows how long these are going to last. But we'll see what happens. Stanley says, "Any comments on Sound of Freedom?" uh, no, I really don't give a shit about Sound of Freedom. That's the right wing. So this is the funny thing. I'll say this about Sound of Freedom. It's a movie about supposedly some dude who was a DEA agent or something like that who retired, or an FBI agent who retired, started uh, a company, if you will, to find missing and exploited children. And it's financed. The movie is actually financed by pedophiles and sexual predators. So there you go. Look it up. You'll see that it's actually been done that. And supposedly they have a lot of QAnon theories, conspiracy theories about the movie being denied to be seen by people and all that kind of bullshit. But yeah, not. And also it stars Jim Caviezel, whatever, the guy who played in The Passion of the Christ, who is also a big right wing nut. So there you have it. He's even a bigger right wing nut than James Woods is, which is saying a lot, quite honestly. Yeah. That's all I'll say about that movie. I have no desire to see it. Yeah. It looks shitty anyway. Anyway, with that said, and also it's not genre either. So fuck that movie. With that said, thank you to everybody joining me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library, and pops up here just for you. And again, like I said, it's over 1,000 videos now. It's up here. Take a look at it. If you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Next week is probably going to be a little bit spotty because I've got some stuff going on. So it's going to be even spottier than usual. But I will be doing, Secret Invasion. And we'll see what else comes up at this point. So thank you, everyone. I will see you again probably on Wednesday for Secret Invasion. Excuse me. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, go join the picket line with everyone else that's out there. Yeah, if you live near the picket line area, join the picket line, man. Go for it. Thanks, everybody. And this is for the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild to help them out. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Wednesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. Oh, there we go. It wasn't working there for a minute. Thanks, everybody. I will see you later. Have a good rest of your weekend.